Yeah, obviously a great win. I thought it was a great team win. A lot of big moments from a lot of different players on the squad, which I thought was really special this time of the year. Had a shutout win. Obviously a really good day in the circle for both Sam and Jory. Really proud of them. Really great performances, specifically from Emma Sellers, who got our dugout card at the end of the game today, and Ella Chansey, both sides of the ball. I'm just really proud of the performance. And, took us a little time to get going. We were talking about it in the dugout of, just kind of how we were going to figure out Benning. But I felt like we reset, refocused on the right things there in the middle of the game, and it really paid off for us. So really proud of them.
Well, it was a rough day with the wind. You had a homer taken away. What was going through your mind as you're going to first and you see what probably was a pop fly kind of twist away from the right fielder?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that not a great feeling, but I knew off the bat that it had the potential to go. But I mean, when it got caught, I was like, we have a lot of game left, and I know that my teammates are going to keep coming up behind me. And I mean, you can just feel it in the dugout, like we're never out of a game. So I knew that we were going to break through at some point. I would have loved for it to go over, but that just wasn't meant to be for the day, so that's okay.
Sam, you got to have a bases loaded jam there in the first inning. How big was that, just kind of settle you down, and also knowing with Benning on the other side, a few runs early could have been the difference right there?
Yeah, I mean, anytime I go out there, I'm just trying to be competitive, and, I know that I can get out of any jam. It takes one pitch. We had 2 outs there, so it just took one pitch, and that's kind of what I just tell myself in those moments is just execute one pitch and we'll get the out. But just trying to be competitive out there in everything that I do.
Ella, what made Benning so good, first of all, and then did y'all sense that she was kind of getting maybe a little bit tired there at the end? Y'all had the opportunity, I guess, in the 5th, and then broke through in the 6th.
Yeah, I mean, we tip our hat to her. She's definitely a good pitcher. I think she's effective just because she has such a difference in speed change, and so she can go to that change up, but she also has the hard, and so I think we can get in trouble when we get caught in between and you aren't really decisive on what you want. So that's kind of why she was effective early in the game, but definitely could feel it coming around at the end that she was getting tired, and we knew that we had to capitalize on that because it was really evident. And so I think when we see a pitcher start to honestly labor out there a little bit, we know that that's when we really just have to put our intention more into the game, and that's when we can really jump on something and make it happen.
Kind of going off that, Ella, can you take us through your perspective on the double you had down the right field line, and then you see the ball kind of go towards North Florida's dugout and the run scores?
Yeah. Honestly, going into that at-bat, I was planning to sit on the hard, and I got a change-up the first pitch for a strike, and I kind of flipped my plan mid-at-bat, and because I could just feel that she was going to go with the off-speed again. And so I was just trying to keep it simple, just find a way to poke something through, and when I saw it go down the line, I knew that it had a good chance of, at least getting Chloe to third, and then, of course, the right fielder booted it, and she was able to score. And so in those moments, I just try to keep it really simple, honestly. I had the ball that I hit to the fence, and so I knew I just had to keep it simple and try to just poke something through the infield, and luckily that happened.
Ella, right here. Obviously, a close game through several innings. On both sides of the ball, you made plays. How tense was the moment going into this game for a tournament game, and how did you deal with that?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it's really tense at all. I think everything we've done up to this point has prepared us for the games like this. And so when we have games where, it's very low scoring or no one's scored up until the late innings, I think we just know how to continue to manage our emotions through that, and just focusing on each other and focusing on what we need to do next really helps us just continue to be locked in the game. So I think, honestly, those feelings, from the outside looking in, that it might be more tense, we really thrive in those environments. So I wouldn't say that it was, too much pressure or anything, but it was just able to allow us just to continue to play the game, and eventually we broke through.
Sam, Ella was just saying that y'all thrive in intense environments. They were putting a little bit of pressure on you early in that game. Had to work around some trouble. What were those moments like for you? In the game early.
Yeah, I mean, I think in those moments I really rely on the people around me. So that's the infielders and the outfielders, and especially Lexi Winters behind the plate. Just eye contact is a huge thing for me, and so. Just leaning on them in those moments and focusing on my breath a little bit more. I think breathing just allows me to settle down a little bit, get my heart rate down, And just overall keeping a neutral mindset, not trying to get too high or too low in those moments, and just, staying neutral, staying competitive, and trusting my stuff.
And again, about that double, again with the wind, when it went up, did you think that's going to be caught because it was kind of a pop, or did you know that right away it's like, I think that's going to land?
I think instinctually I knew it was going to land. The outfielders, if you're seeing in their positioning, they were playing at the fence, and so honestly, right off the bat, I knew it had a chance to get down.
Take questions for Coach at this point.
Ashley, how do you approach tomorrow? I mean, knowing what's on the line, but also knowing, hey, we've got a little bit of wiggle room because you'd have to lose twice. I mean, just what is the focus? Is it just like the game one of the year, or is there a little something extra that you'll talk about tomorrow?
I don't think we'll talk about anything new or anything that we haven't talked about at this point. For us, kind of feels like a series at this point. We've played 3 games, single games a day for a long time, so we'll probably approach it like, let's sweep the series. Obviously, we'll see who we're playing later this afternoon, but I don't think the messaging will be any different.
Kind of going off what I asked Ella, did you get a sense that y'all were about to break through offensively?
Yes, I did. I have good instincts on that stuff, and I knew they were going to break through. I was just urging them to do it as quick as possible so that I felt better in the dugout. But no, I think it's really important. We practice what we preach, and I try to stay as neutral and calm in the dugout as possible with them. And, we gathered up, I think it was the 4th or the 5th or something like that, and just kind of talked about what our focus and intent was on. And I honestly felt like we were focused in a little bit too much in on Benning itself and just trying to beat her versus okay, what is the game giving us right now? How can we beat the ball? How can we beat the game? We're trying to just shift our focus. We had some of those conversations there in the middle of the game right before we scored. And great base running by Chloe Lackey. Coming off the bench there and making that read at third. But yeah, I felt it. How long is it going to take us to do it? But we've done it all year, and I'm their biggest fan, and I have the utmost belief that they're going to figure it out always.
Sticking with the play you just mentioned, did you think Chloe was going to be able to score there when that ball first dropped, or when did you kind of first realize, oh, she's got a chance to get all the way around here?
I thought on a clean play, she's probably at third. I think the bobble made Katie round her, and then the throw being off allowed her to score. So I think we definitely capitalized on 2 mistakes that they made. I think clean play is probably third base. Mm-hmm.
Ashley, as a former pitcher yourself, how much do you love seeing the effort from Sam on that play where she made the diving tag on Brock when she got caught in that pickle there?
Yeah, I love Sam Grass. I love her heart, her competitive spirit, and have for years. And and personally, I feel like every pitch Sam throws, I throw it with her. There's just a part of our hearts that are connected together at this point. And they're early in the game. I went out and I challenged her to let go of whatever fear she was holding on to, because I felt that she was a little tight to start the game. And these are big moments, big games, and these guys there's a lot on the line. They've worked really hard for their whole careers for what's on the horizon for us, and so I do feel like Sam and I are intertwined in those moments, and I was not surprised that she was the one that dove on the ground to get the out. Carly Shelton said in the dugout after the game, she's like, yeah, I gave it up to Sam, and I knew we were going to get the out just by the look in her eyes, because Carly was on the other side of that. So I'm not surprised Sam was the person that ended up on the ground. I would prefer it be one of our defenders, though.
Obviously, in the postseason, you're going to go up against elite arms. How much confidence does it give you, the defense that this team has been playing and the pitching, to sort of back things up when it's slower at the dish?
Yeah, I think as long as we play defense and we, give ourselves a chance on that side of the ball in the circle, which is really honestly always the goal for them. We've preached that from the beginning of just, as a staff, let's just give our team a chance to win, whatever that looks like. Today it looked like a shutout. Sometimes it doesn't look like that. But, we've played great defense all along, and I think months ago we knew that we could play really good defense. So it gives us a ton of confidence. And, Katie Browder, our associate head coach, reminded the team at the end of the game, it's like, hey, everybody at this point is good. Everyone is good at this point. There are no bad teams the rest of the way. Those guys are probably watching these games on TV. So, we have to take every pitcher with great intent, great focus. We have to play really well for the rest of the way to get to where we want to go. So the defense and the pitching being elite, I think is going to give us a good chance the rest of the way. Awesome. Thank you, guys.